Hold on, I forgot to do the intro. Haha, forgot to do the intro. All right, we're gonna start raw. So if you got this on the live stream, you got it on the live stream. Hi and hello and welcome to episode 8 of Going Over. Let's go.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hellos.
Big apologies for the booty audio quality from Saleh. He is on assignment making it work technology-wise, but we know you work with us because it's a whole business of works. That's what this is. We always figure it out. Of course, I'm Fred Slow. Alongside me, Saleh Taylor. Saleh, welcome back to the program, brother.
Thank you. It's good to be back. You've had quite a week, good sir. How has it been?
It was a big one, and I'll railroad you a little bit here for a second. Just an absolute banger of a night last Thursday night. That's September the 15th at the time of this recording at the historic El Rey Theater, where Duke City Championship Wrestling, they set the table for their final bout for the Duke City Championship Wrestling heavyweight title of the world. Let's go on that idea as our two, well, I would say feature contenders, Hobo Hank and Turbo Tony, will now face off in a ladder match, and that ladder match is going to be a special one because we're doing it where? Right at the historic El Rey Theater. That's why this thing is called Wrestling at the El Rey. It's going to be a big one. Also, speaking of big ones, and I should probably put out a press release. I think I'll do that today. Largest single-day ticket sale in the history of Duke City Championship Wrestling, topping over, this is complete shoot, topping over $3,000 in revenues of ticket sales for day one of ticket sales for Duke City Championship Wrestling. So let's go on that. Big momentous day, big fun start to a fun start of a month. October 19th at the historic El Rey Theater is going to be a banger. Absolute banger of a production this last Thursday. Thank you to all involved, including Pro V Networks, including the historic El Rey Theater, including everyone underneath my umbrella, but not you, Saleh. You were at the State Fair, my man, entertaining thousands and thousands of individuals.
That was there in spirit, yes. They were totally, I felt a bit of them, yes. It was a good show. My heart was with my DCC fan, man. And it's one of those things where unfortunately couldn't adjust either date. And but I'm grateful that you let me go and do that. But also, I leave for one show, man. All hell breaks loose, bro. What happened, man?
So we had, just turbulations upside down and inside out is what it was. Show started off with Matthew Robles, who somehow manages to get on every single episode of my TV program, which you can catch on Comcast Channel 26 or on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/DCCDub. So it's at DCCDub. So Robles shows up, Matthew Robles, who you're familiar with the MK Army, with all the time he had here with previous promotions in the state. He comes in and he says, hey, this place is a joke. He says the ownership's a joke. He says they have a phantom commissioner that only is being marionetted, is being puppeted. He calls out Chris Burnett. Chris Burnett, obviously in the ownership group of Duke City Championship Wrestling. Chris Burnett, who comes off commentary. They meet in the ring. It's as incredible as a face-off between two Goliaths as you've ever seen. It's WrestleMania 3. It's Hogan and Andre. It's that exact kind of thing. As they're facing off against each other, Matthew Robles says, you got to go. Like you're a sham. I am the authority. By the way, that's a whole nother conversation for another time. Chris Burnett says, no, we don't settle things here with paperwork in Duke City Championship Wrestling. We settle them in the ring. Both men choose gladiators to face off for each other. Robles takes Burnett's glasses, snaps them in half in the ring. He throws them into the crowd. You know, Chris Burnett's signature white glasses, they're gone. They get thrown in the crowd. Who catches them? Me on commentary. I throw them right back. You know how I am. You know how I do. I catch them, I throw them right back. They end up back in the ring. But what does Chris Burnett do? He doesn't pick up a new pair. He just pulls out another pair out of his pockets. Throws one.
He's ready. He's always ready.
Unreal. Both these competitors have to choose competitors, and they do. Later in the night, unbeknownst to me, unbeknownst to the return of the DCCW fan base, because they thought he was gone after not appearing at the previous show, Charlie 50, and his valet, Veronica Vega. They come to the ring. They're representing Matthew Robles. I can't believe this alliance that has started. Chris Burnett says, don't worry, I see you. I'm going to one-up you. He brings out two scoops, Tommy Test. Two scoops. Tommy comes out to the ring. He's representing not just Chris Burnett, but this great state of New Mexico. Tommy Test faces off against Matthew Robles' selected fighter. That's Charlie 50. These dudes battle. They battle evenly. I'm talking, you throw a left, I throw a right. You go high, I go low. It's the entire thing you could ever see in person. After they fight for what seems like an eternity, my man, the dastardly, my arch nemesis, Tyler Copeland. Tyler Copeland, who had wrestled earlier in the evening, collected his second win in a row, undefeated in DCCW. 2 shows, 2 wins. Now he wants more. He comes out of the back, battling Fernando Gonzalez, who's trying to stop him. Our ringside announcer, our backstage announcer, Fernando Gonzalez, battling him for the World Heavyweight Championship belt. He's ripped it from its display case. Fernando can't fight him back. There's a whiplash. Fernando falls back to the stage. He's stuck in gorilla, if you know anything about the industry. He goes down. Copeland brings the belt to the ring. He steals one to Tommy Test. As cold as you can clock a guy. Big Benson. He goes down. Charlie 50 applies the 1, the 2, the 3. The pin is over. Chris Burnett banished from Duke City Championship Wrestling due to hijinks and shenanigans between Veronica Vega, a now partnered Tyler Copeland. I can't believe Charlie 50 showing his face again here in town, and all led by who? The guy was accusing puppeteering in the first place. The guy that's now marionetting or what? Help me out here. He's marionetting Charlie 50 and his boys. I cannot believe for a second that Matthew Robles has done this. Chris Burnett gone from Duke City Championship Wrestling. It was a Thursday to remember.
And I wasn't there. I leave for one bloody day.
Missed the entire thing to go play State Fair. To eat hot dogs and pretzels and pickles on pizza.
$20 corn dogs and $50 beers.
I went out to the state.
I think I came out a big loss, man.
No, you are jealous. Also, find one depth from that microphone because that thing's not as nice as your other one. The thing that was so incredible about this little venture, this night of professional wrestling, is we have it all. It's captured on Comcast Channel 26, ProV Networks, and of course our YouTube. You can catch our YouTube show at DCC Dub. That's Wrestling at the Historic El Rey. Please come and see that. That's going to air over the course of the next 4 weeks, leading us up to October the 19th, a ladder match to crown a champion in Duke City Championship Wrestling. Also an announcement here. I believe Tommy Test is trying to get a little bit of revenge against Tyler Copeland. So look for that on that card, as well as he will not be wronged by the man who wronged him. Also, what will become of Chris Burnett? Also, what will be the involvement of Matthew Robles in the MK Army? Do they even bother to show up? Is their damage already done? Do they believe that Turbo Tony is going to elevate himself to the championship over the hometown hero, Hobo Hank? There is no way for me to predict that. I can assure you this. The only way to absorb it is in person, and that happened with record single-day ticket sales for Duke City Championship Wrestling. There's not a ringside ticket available. They're all gone. I am sorry. You can sit immediately in front of me. I think there's a couple left. Otherwise, you're GAing into this bad boy, because that's the night it's going to be, October the 19th, Thursday night at the Historic El Rey Theater.
October 19th, baby. We coming out. So
Joining us in the live chat, friend of Duke City Championship Wrestling, Sarah. Sarah was there in person. Sarah had about as much fun as I've seen anyone ever have at a pro wrestling event. It was a banger of an evening, and you missed it, Saleh, and you'll never, ever experience fun again, and your coffee will never taste good, and your cereal will never taste good, and your life is ruined.
All for a $20 corn dog, man. You know what? I think I came up short on that one, man, on that deal.
I went out to the State Fair on Monday doing a little recruiting, you know what I mean? Trying to find some talent, looking for some talent. Ran into my friend Marissa Duran. I don't know how well you know her, if you do or you don't, but she's going to be joining us October the 19th at the Historic El Rey Theater. And if you are in attendance, you know what you can get? Caricature. She's going to be doing caricature art for us in the lobby, in the waiting area, pre-show and during the show. So if you need to step away, if maybe you want to grab a fun memory while at Duke City Championship Wrestling, wrestling-inspired caricatures by Marissa for the audience of Duke City Championship Wrestling. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Get there early, get in line with her.
That is awesome. You're not lying, man. You continue to deliver, man. You're saying each next show is going to be bigger than the last. And
we're trying hard, right?
You ain't lying, man.
Yeah.
This is something I'm really looking forward to. All right, I'm canceling out that day, making sure I reserve it just for DCC Dub. October 19th. Yeah, I'm there. I'm home. I'll be home. I'll be here. sounds like we got to do some house cleaning to do, but also we got to figure out how to do with Hobo Hank versus Turbo Tony for the championship. This is going to be a battle of titans over here, man.
It's going to be a crazy night. Ref Francisco joining us on the live stream. Thank you to everyone who takes time with us on a Saturday afternoon. We know you got a lot of options for entertainment, and we appreciate those that take it from us here. I, of course, am Fred Slow, Sally Taylor with me, talking Duke City Championship Wrestling. But we got to press the brakes on Duke City Championship Wrestling because we're going to come back to Duke City Championship Wrestling because it's the talk of the town. WWE, though, stopped the world last night, Sally. WWE, as the NFL is back, college football is back. We're revving up for Major League Baseball playoffs. Like, we are at that time of year when sports is better right now than it is at any other time of the year. And you know what the WWE did? They took advantage of the writer's strike is what they did. So they have on their programming on free television, free TV, $0. They had an episode in the year 2023 that featured not just John Cena, who's been returned for 2 weeks now, but the return of the People's Champ, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Rocky Maivia there live in person. Incredible for the city of Denver. You and I, almost hysterical at our own selves that we didn't make the effort to go up to Denver and see it in person. Could not be more disappointed, but my arms are exhausted from the goosebumps that I felt with the return of The Rock last night to WWE Pro Wrestling.
To hear that pop, when it felt like, all right, something's happening, something's coming.
Explosion, bigger than a pop. It was an explosion.
Can we call it like the Rock's pop, or is that still an attitude pop?
Yeah, Pop Rocks. It's called Pop Rocks. Yeah,
Pop Rock. This all. Pat McAfee was back in the ring and like cutting a beautiful promo. Austin Aries just like. Speaking of which, that kid's coming up, man. He's had a great 2 years.
Austin Theory. Well,
Austin Theory, yeah.
And our apologies to the fan base of this episode of the program. Just Sally's microphone is booty. But, Austin Theory, and I'm going to run over you just with that a little bit. That was the first text I sent after watching it was Austin Theory is fire. Austin Theory looks the part, acts the part, can stand in the ring. You don't realize how big he is until he stands across from The Rock. There's Austin Theory told The Rock, it doesn't matter what your name is. And I did this. I said, you're very wrong. It absolutely matters who that gentleman's name is. And then the audience, and they make it look like The Rock did this. You know how WWE is. Was it 4 minutes? 4 minutes, you have the audience chanting, you are an a-hole. We're saying a-hole because we're on terrestrial radio. It was a real special thing, and it went very, very well as The Rock returned face-to-face with Austin Theory, Pat McAfee in the ring. John Cena had a big one with Grayson Waller at the end of the night. Just as good of an episode. I feel bad for everyone else who was on it. There's no reason to talk about them.
I'd say, do you think this will highlight the brand, highlight the product again, or this will help out the younger cats, or is it just everyone's back for The Rock, everyone's back for John Cena, and anything that's not working with him directly being forgotten?
Sure. I mean, the very first concert I ever went to was Alanis Morissette in the summer of 1996. You know who opened for her? No Doubt. I became a No Doubt fan. Like, that's how this thing works. Like, you come for the name on the marquee, you enjoy the show that opens. And that's how this thing feels. That's exactly how this thing feels. Where you're coming in for big names and you're coming in for a big game. But you're going to get a bunch of guys that aren't those names and they're going to put on shows. And if it's LWO or if it's a tremendous job that Damian Priest and those cats are doing over there with Finn Balor, or if it's the guys that are opposite them, that Miz and LA Knight stuff, that's incredibly good. Now LA Knight announces it done. He's going to move on to a championship, including the name of one Roman Reigns. Yes, thank you. More, please, sir, on my plate. I want it all.
Apparently, WrestleMania, Roman Reigns and The Rock is locked in the books.
It better be.
So we're going to see where this goes, and I'm excited to see this could be the end of the Bloodline storyline, which a lot of people say has overstayed its welcome. But I'm welcoming a good story if the story's good.
I want it forever. I want it longer than forever. I want for my ever to end, and I want it to continue.
I'm okay with that. I would love. We also have the next generation. You have The Rock's daughter, Simone. I think she's out on as Ava Raine. who's I think he's out with an injury right now, but you already have the next generation coming up. Also the bloodline.
The return of Nia Jax last Monday as well, which is obviously going to be a big part of that storyline. The Usos getting recruited separate but equally into Finn Balor's organization. There's so much going on in the world of pro wrestling, so many incredible stories right now. You're locked in from the second the show starts to the second the show finishes. This is both iterations. And, that's the thing, circling back to DCCW, where it was so very important that alongside the pursuit of the championship belt, we had something going on in the other 3 episodes of the show. We don't do quote unquote filler matches. We do rematches, and we do reasoning, and we try to put logic behind an illogical sport, and we try to create a lot, and and that's all shades of the WWE program. That's all shades of the AEW programming. That's the idea that we can create a lot of entertainment, and the part that you gravitate to is the part you're going to enjoy the most, because we're talking about The Rock, we're talking about John Cena. There was someone in attendance there last night that's never going to forget the promo that LA Knight in Denver cut over The Miz after going over on He in a night that was booked in by the 2 biggest stars to ever freaking do it in the history of the game.
You had so we're looking at 3 generations of WWE that's back in WWE right now. You got Attitude, Ruthless Aggression, and then this new era aggression,
PG.
This new era, the PG. And this is actually a really, really cool time. And this actually speaks to the technology of recovery, technology of working out, where you don't see too many multi-generational things back in the Attitude Era, because those who were in the 80s kind of stayed with themselves and stuff. And then Attitude Era, then came this new generation of stars and stuff. It's really interesting seeing how a lot of the wrestlers can still be effective in the ring as long as they are in the ring, if that makes sense what I'm talking about.
No, it does make sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, what's the best way to say this? I think the longer you can stretch out storytelling, the better it is. If The Rock, who by the way brings his catchphrases and his moves back from as recently, I guess, as that WrestleMania in LA, but as far back as, when was his last official match? Eric Rowan in Dallas in 2016? Is that right? If that's right, that's right. If it's not right, it's close. And then everything else is from before that. With that said, WWE Universe remembers. And if you want to bring back promos cut between John Cena and The Rock, if you want Triple H to be in the same vicinity as those 3 guys, because I put them all on the same level, if you want to do anything of that nature and then include a Roman Reigns in it to tie it, if you feel like you have to, but I promise you don't, because wrestling, and that's the theater of the sport, right? I was talking to my very good friend, I'll say his name on air, Jared Hart. Jared Hart runs the radio station that we are currently on, and we work out during the week. He is my boss. And we're having a conversation about Titantron stuff, because we have a Tinytron. By the way, the Tinytron broke. The Tinytron is broken. Somebody broke it. The screen is broken. I will tell that story at another time, but it is over. Joining us on the live stream, Mr. Happy. The Tinytron broken during
for one day, man.
Yeah,
I missed one show.
It made it one show, destroyed. Don't worry, there'll be a replacement. But the Tinytron gone. I think we're gonna hold a like a wake for it. I think we're gonna have what's it called whenever, not a funeral, but what's a celebration of life for the Tinytron. We're going to show its best moments. We're going to do a whole thing. The thing is super broken, but we're going to lay it to rest in the ring. I would love if Mr. Happy came out and just put an elbow drop on it right in the middle of the ring. We're going to do something tremendous with the Tinytron, because now we have Tinytron 2. That's what we're going to have moving forward. And if that's not a part of pro wrestling, I don't know what is a part of pro wrestling. But hashtag kids these days, right? Kids these days didn't get to see The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. And they didn't get to see the Attitude Era wrestling. The same way that when I was growing up, I only heard the stories of Ric Flair in the 80s, And when these stories are being told to these young adults and these kids that are watching and learning the sport, they're being told by who? Me and you and Mr. Happy, who's in live with us, and Sarah and Francisco. They're being told all these stories, and their minds are going to be able to go, because this sport is the theater of the mind. And you're going to tell them about WrestleMania 17, and you're going to tell them about 1999 and 1998 and the glass breaking for the first time, and William Regal, or excuse me, and Jake the Snake Roberts, who's trying to have a new character, and Austin 316 said, "I just whooped your ass," and you're going to have all this stuff, and their minds are going to create it more grandiose than you, or anyone else would be able to actually communicate it. And it's going to be beautiful, it's going to be poetic, and it's going to be special. And whenever they go back and actually do see it, the same way that you and I went back and watched historical stuff, we're going to see it with our own eyes. And whenever we see it, then we're going to go, it's not what I thought. It's just as good, but it's not how I imagined it. And that's what happened for a lot of kids last night with the return of The Rock to SmackDown.
That return was just, lack of a better way, electric.
Yeah.
Just simply electric. And just to see him, just remember, like, he came in, the sound hit, and then he stood on the stage for about what felt like 2 minutes.
Well, and you said the sound, but it's the most electrifying sound. Whenever it's a sentence, can you smell? And the answer is yes. And whenever they cut to the crowd, because they do the crowd pan, because there's a 6-second burn or whatever before the time he comes out if the music hits. And as you pan the whole thing, you've seen these big boom cameras they use. They can get as close as my hand can to the camera on this recording, and they can come back out. And there's not a jaw closed in the building. There's not a seat in a butt. There's not a phone that's turned off. Like it is now the new flash bulb of the opening kickoff of the Super Bowl is what this shot is. And WWE does it perfect. And they had who? They had guys look like you. They had guys look like me. They had kids. They had women. They had the elderly. They had the disabled. They had the not invested because they were just brought by someone else. Oh, shoot, I'm invested again. That sound, as you called it, that sound is emotion. And that emotion was felt by 15,000 people in the city of Denver last night.
Denver got like one of the best treats ever. And to hear it's one of those things that people are always talking about. You don't know, like, this crowd wasn't like our crowd when I was younger. And to see and feel that crowd now. Remember, we were getting some hot crowds. We've been getting hot crowds throughout this year, especially when in Puerto Rico and stuff. Like, that was a hot crowd, but this just felt different, and it felt great. And like I was so I got the link that, oh, by the way, check this out, but I was in the car waiting for someone, and I had like 20 minutes to kill, so I'm watching the promo and hearing that in the car, and I turned it up a little bit too, just to feel that. I got goosebumps just listening to it in the car of his entrance, and I was like, oh, I just took it back to when I was a young kid, young little boy. And that now, how do you feel about this from a business standpoint, that they did this on free TV and they didn't tease it, they didn't reveal anything, no one spoiled anything, no dirt sheets? How do you feel that this was legit? One of the very few times they were able to shock us.
Yeah, and that's the part, right? Because it was a little like Cloak and Dagger, because you have Pat McAfee returning as well. So if you have someone in the back, and by the way, leaks are not real. Leaks are produced. And you can get your guys to say, hey, just put it out there. There's a big name returning. And then Pat McAfee hits. And you're like, okay, that qualifies as the way that sentence was said. The guy that hosts College Game Day, the guy that's on the sidelines for Texas, Alabama, the guy that has the most popular podcast in the world of sports. That's a big name. 2 minutes later, The Rock says, okay. The free TV part's neat to me too, because I did hype that in the beginning, because that's kind of part of the hyperbole, right? That's part of talking about pro wrestling, because historically you didn't do things on free TV because you had pay-per-view television. Pay-per-view television would bring you $60 a head. I guess at the time it was probably 40. With that said, Fox paid WWE $2 billion. like Fox. Yeah, you put that on USA, Fox is going to kill you. You put that on Peacock, Fox is going to let you have it. Like, you have to if you're WWE. And that Peacock, whatever the next time is that The Rock wrestles for the first time, because the next time's the first time for a lot of people. Next time he does that, you're getting my money. And you and I, Saleh, we're going to make an effort to be in the exact same room together watching it.
Yeah.
We need each other's emotion for that because it's going to be emotional. We're in our late 30s.
My favorite thing about it, whether you're watching it live or even if you're watching it from home, it's a shared thing. You feed off of those, like, and their job is to get reactions out of you. Even if you're sitting next to people that don't know, don't care, by the end of that show, more than likely they're going to care about something from that. They're going to remember it. They're going to walk away with something from that show, that event that they just saw. So yeah, we need to be together the next time we watch something like that, and a lot of food, a lot of drinks, a lot of emotion.
There's a fun thing with these really momentous ones too, and it's this. It's what is this? 2023, 2028. We'll go up to Denver for something. Who knows what it'll be? Baseball game, maybe a pro wrestling thing, basketball game, hockey game, fun restaurant, Meow Wolf. We're gonna go up to Denver for something. And we're gonna bring up the time The Rock returned. And every single person we run into is gonna claim they were at the building.
Well, I was there.
15,000 people in attendance. But we'll easily find 30,000 people that tell us they were there. Because that's how these ones go, right? That's a big part of the, circling back to Duke City Championship Wrestling. We had a banger event last Thursday that Saleh skipped because he's a talented musician. This is the one that set the one. This interference from Tyler Copeland that got rid of Chris Burnett. People love Chris Burnett. They love the commissioner. You're going to come to Duke City Championship Wrestling on October the 19th? He ain't going to be there. He gone. Then, Hobo Hank coming out because he's tired of Matthew Robles' stuff. Gives Matthew Robles one of these. Does that inadvertently throw off Thunder? Does Thunder lose the match to Turbo Tony? And we're robbed by Matthew Robles and his shenanigans we know the relationship between Thunder and Hobo Hank. We know their rich friendship, their history. Are we robbed of seeing two 30-plus year friends, two 25-plus year veterans? Are we robbed of seeing them in a ladder match for the Duke City Championship Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship? We were. Where does that go? What happens in the future of this sport? And a lot of people took advantage, and we had the highest single-day ticket sales in the history of DCCW because people don't want to miss out on the next one. They don't want to miss out on their favorite seat. They don't want to miss out on pizza and fun merch and drinks. It was a banger. It was a banger, Saleh.
Well, you had me at pizza. I'll for sure be there the next one, for sure.
Hey, we got a guy selling pizza last night. Little inside pro wrestling promotion. I'm the promoter. I have the license. I'm in the ownership group. I am the guy. Ambulance doesn't show up. That's on me. Ticket scanner doesn't work. That's on me. Pizza's cold. That's on me, right? This is a real thing. So the guy selling concessions to me, he says, Saleh, hey, Fred, I think some of these slices are cut a little too big. What do you want me to do, bro? You think I carry a pizza cutter around? You think you think there should be 10 slices here instead of 8? Like, I don't understand. Just sell the pizza. I got a whole ass wrestling show over here. Sell the pizza. I got to find new commentators. Chris Burnett just got fired. A lot of fun special guest commentary on this last TV recording of Duke City Championship Wrestling. I was there. That was a lot of fun. Obviously, I'm a world of talent. Brought in a couple guys. Gabe Gambino came in, sat in on 2 matches, did tremendous. He understands the sport. He's smart in the game. Obviously, he's a man high. Sat down with me was one Dan Mayfield, public address for your Duke City Gladiators, public address for New Mexico Highlands University, close personal friend of Turbo Tony. So that tells you what kind of character he has. He sat in with me for a broadcast. Wrapping up the main event on Thursday night on the TV recordings, Fernando Gonzalez, the ringside announcer, says, I'll step right up, coach. I almost wonder if he was tied up with Tyler Copeland. Get rid of Chris Burnett. Give him an opportunity on the mic. I trust no one. It's been a banger. It has been a banger start to DCCW. Had a bunch of big conversations off the mark. No AEW talk yet on this one. You know why? Haven't had a chance to watch it this week. Too busy. Too much WWE. Too much DCCW. Too much State Fair. We're in Albuquerque, New Mexico. New Mexico Lobos are playing the New Mexico State Aggies today in the biggest football game of the year. Got to get to that. You already know. It's going to be a banger. It's the best sports week ever. And The Rock is at the top of it.
You got the Battle of New Mexico. You also got the Battle of Colorado, Colorado State versus CU. You got Coach Prime making big statements up there too. There's a lot going on. You also had the merger that finalized this week. The McMahons is no longer fully in control of the WWE, no longer the majority stakeholder.
Isn't that wild?
That is I never thought I'd see that in my lifetime.
Well, maybe that's why the Rock's. I'm just kidding.
Open the door for him. We walk right in.
Well, and you know how these things work too. Like, because you got to keep the product consistent. So there is definitely they presented the next probably up till WrestleMania. They probably presented up to WrestleMania what the game plan was, and the new ownership group said, "Cool, we'll stay this path till then." You know, so it's. I mean, are they at the top of it? Obviously, you know, card subjective to change or whatever, but that's how these transfers work. You know, that's why the WCW one went so very poorly with WWF, because they weren't absorbed; they were hostily taken over. You know, and it's a situation where like they're going to do really well and have the right things lined up. I promise. WWE is going to be better than it's ever been, and I feel like I say that every single week.
You know what? Once again, I agree. I keep saying that. It's been a crazy thing. Just a quick little side note. It looks like Jade Cargill from AEW is not renewing her contract and may be WWE bound.
That would track.
She's had her final match already, and her contract's running out. It's already run out now, and she seems to be on track with WWE. Now, do you feel that the WWE women's division could use someone like Jade Cargill like that, especially when they turn on Nia Jax, or put Jade in developmental with NXT, let her build some more experience in ring? Because she is amazing cutting promos, amazing presence. Her look is phenomenal. You look at her, you could tell like she's somebody. She's a champ. She's a legend. You know, her in ring could be better, but she is getting better. She has gotten better each time she's gotten in the ring, and I'm excited to see where she goes. And people are thinking, is she going to go straight to WWE or go to NXT first, or they'll send them to underdevelopmental to give her some more time and to lock in? And will they keep her name or just call her just Jade? Maybe.
I don't know who owns that, so obviously I can't speak to that. What I can say is you can't put her in NXT because that's going to devalue her, because she doesn't need to learn. She needs, because she held what, the second title. She held it forever. I think she caught one L in the whole industry, and you catch an L on your way out, so that tracks. With that said, you got to put her in. You got to put her in big. You got to start her off. This is going to sound bad because I hate to speak poorly of anyone, but we are talking about professionals. You have to do the opposite of what you did with Lacey Evans. You have to put her out there. You can't give her the best gimmick in the developmental or NXT or OVW or whatever they're calling it. You can't do that and then bring her up to the top and change her whole routine around. You introduce her as the baddest on the block. You put her right up against Charlotte Flair face to face. Maybe you do it at the Royal Rumble. I'm assuming her contract's up December 31st. That's what I'm going to assume. If that's not true, because you tell me this is me learning this. I didn't know this before. Her contract's up December 31st. You bring her out right after the Royal Rumble. Where's the Royal Rumble at? Philadelphia. No, it's not. That's WrestleMania. Royal Rumble's in Tampa. Florida fans love what? NXT. And they don't want to see someone from somewhere else come in. And you can make her the baddest, most booed right out the gate because everyone knows who she is. But she didn't, quote unquote, pay her dues the way that super smart Tampa fan is going to say that she should have. Just the way that DCCW owner and promoter Fred Slow didn't pay his dues in the business by traveling car ride over car ride, like sitting in weird KC Hall bathrooms, changing his clothes, because I came from the world of radio. Tell you what, it's all entertainment. Kurt Cobain said it. Jade Cargill will show up and be the baddest, and she will fight Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania because she's ready for that right now. Super ready for that. And all this weird back of the house, Becky Lynch, Triple H stuff, lemons and lemonades and that and upside down. No, not going to matter. Just bring in, who's next? Goldberg.
Yeah.
Jade Cargill.
She could be that. If they book her as Goldberg, give her strong 3 to 5 minute matches, not even 5 minutes.
No, not even 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I could see that. That'll be
Mop,
dope booking.
mop local talent, a lot good talent. Mop big girls and small girls and fast girls and slow girls and pick every continent. Have her beat up a girl from every continent. Do it all. Beat up the world. I'm Jade Cargill, or I'm Jade Cargill, whatever her name is. I'm Cade Jarkill, and I'm here. I'm here to beat up the world. That's a good bit.
You only have to deal with 7 if you're going with the continents. It just
Right.
meet someone in the South Pole. Like, I'm ready for you.
She starts
I'm
calling
ready
herself.
for you.
Yeah, she's like, I'm literally the world champ. I beat up someone from everywhere in the world. Beat up them
I'm
all.
the real intercontinental champion.
Yeah. I cannot be stopped.
You know, that would be. I'd back up that booking.
Yeah, duh. I'd love it.
You know,
And I'd laugh. I'd laugh for hours. And then the whole time. And what if you did a thing with Charlotte Flair? Because Charlotte Flair is afraid of no one, right? Charlotte Flair is the, oh, I've seen you. I've seen everyone here. Not only have I seen everyone here, I beat everyone else up here. What if whenever you're doing that bit, you do the, oh, she's getting a little worried. Or maybe you don't even start with worried. Maybe you start with she's starting to notice. You know, she, and it's little stuff. Jade Cargill arrives, and let's give her like a badass mantra. Like what's better than a limo? Stretch limo. What's better than a stretch limo? Humvee limo. What's better than a Humvee limo? Monster truck. I don't care. You get the point.
Monster truck limo.
Monster truck limo. And she's arriving in those things, right? And she's getting out and she's walking from the back to her own dressing room. And Charlotte Flair's like in the dressing room with everyone else, and she's like, the what? And she's walking to they announce whatever Charlotte Flair's kind of promo, or maybe Charlotte Flair is leaving and Jade Cargill's the next match, and she just walks right past her. You know, and you start building that thing. And then at the end, after she catches a couple W's in a row, the story's not about Jade catching wins. The story is about Charlotte Flair's character dissolving into a character of confidence to a character of worry. And that character of worry has to face off contractually because she's got what lineage and she's got the name, and she has to start putting all those things on the line. She can't not perform at WrestleMania. She's a Flair. She can't not be the main event. She's a Flair. And you build that story out. So I know I'm railroading you here with a little bit because your microphone.
I love it.
And then it's her versus Jade Cargill in Philadelphia. I don't know where Jade's from. Let's look that up real quick.
Michigan, I want to say.
I'm going to guess you're right. I have no idea. She's from Florida. Might be completely wrong. I might be completely wrong on this debut because of that, because Florida fan will know that. But with that said, you build the story in such a way to where it starts off as a story about Jade, and it ends up a story about Charlotte Flair. Now, do I believe in their first encounter ever that it's a clean finish? No, it's dusty. It's a dusty finish. What is that dust? I can't tell you. Jade had a ton of assistants in AEW all the time. Bunch of helpers.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a return of someone. Excuse me as I kick my own TV. Maybe it's a face. Maybe it's a heel turn. Maybe it's whoever was the hype man for Charlotte that whole time. Man, woman, otherwise. Maybe they end up on Team Jade. I mean, there's a lot you could create with that.
Yeah.
And it would be good. Because right now, I dare you to tell me a single lady storyline in WWE. I'd even give you a minute to think about it. There ain't one. There ain't one. What's her story?
She just won the NXT champion from what's her name? Tiffany Stratton.
Homeboy.
So she's now the NXT Women's Champion.
Homeboy. We talking about Raw? We talking about SmackDown? Or we talking about NXT? Oh, you tell me she's champion of that other one? The one no one watches? Oh, cool.
Well, she's bringing eyes. She actually broke a record. They broke a million viewers for her match. That's becoming. You've been busy this week, so I've been watching for you, brother.
No, well, that's super cool. That's a really great stat. You know how many points I would score if I went and played in a junior high basketball game right now?
What's that?
Yeah, I'd score 100. Easy. I'd score 100 against the JV team. Hey, way to go, Becky. Becky. Way to beat up on the B squad, girl. That ain't the story. The story is Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. Oh, you're going to tell me she won the NXT championship in front of, what's a real number for that venue? 5,000? In front of 5,000 people? Oh, cool. I'm going to put 5,000 people in the Rio Rancho Event Center for Duke City Championship Wrestling. When you come out here, play a real show. NXT. Not for me. Stupid. And that's the thing, because you can't get it over on the television. Everything is so incredibly good right now with Raw and SmackDown. Everything is so incredibly good with every single story. You can't, because of, I'm not going to be that guy, but you can't Title IX a dumb story into this thing. You got to give me like a power story. Rhea Ripley's the power story because she's the bad bitch who runs the other dudes around in her triage. I guess there's 4 of them now. But that's
Lord Farquaad, yeah.
Yeah, that's how bad of a dude she is.
I would love to see Becky and Rhea go at it, the battle of the dude and the man.
Sure. Mommy versus the man. Let's go. I'd watch that.
I'd watch that.
Not watching for joke Becky Lynch, whose whole character is she dresses weird. That's your character? That character's been done. That's the problem I'm having with Seth Rollins right now. Your whole character is you're a song. Where are you otherwise? You're a song. People like singing your song. Do anything else. You got a world of talent, brother. Do you remember when you broke up the Shield? You're a song now.
Ooh.
Infuriate me. And then you get guys who go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm loving it. We're getting another passionate shoot from you. I love it. Anytime we rally you up, I love it.
Well, it's like this. Don't put me on the biggest ass billboard in the middle of the biggest intersection in town. And then later, after I'm the feature on the biggest billboard, don't put me in the corner and put my co-host on there. It don't work like that. When The Rock came back yesterday on SmackDown in Denver in front of 15,000 electrified fans, he went to the front of the billboard again. And if I'm everyone in the back, I say, damn it. I got to work real freaking hard. I got to do more than my 4-move moveset. I got to do more than just my catchphrase. I got to do that thing. Because The Rock got the crowd to chant asshole. And I don't have a way to do that. Can you believe we went through
the whole 2 hours?
We did. We got. Can you believe we're there? We're at the end. This is wild to me that it went so fast. Big thank you to everyone who joined us. Sally, you are rejoining us for the next rendition of Duke City Championship Wrestling, October the 19th at the historic El Rey Theater. We're excited for that one. It's a ladder match for the championship. Hobo Hank versus Turbo Tony. It's going to be a banger of a night. Who knows how that one will play out? Obviously, just levels upon levels with Matthew Robles and Charlie 50's return and Tyler Copeland, and will Tommy Test have an opportunity to avenge the loss he took to Charlie 50, and then the loss the DCCW took of Chris Burnett. Just so much going on, so much growth that's going to happen. Just an incredible, in every single way that you define that word, night of pro wrestling, October the 19th. Also look for our social media, everything Duke City Championship Wrestling, as we're going to have fun announcements about Halloween themes. We're going to do a lot of fun things on that night. It's going to be very special. It's going to be very good. Give me your final word, Saleh.
October 19th, baby. Don't miss it, Saleh.
Figure it out, Saleh.
I'll figure it out. Saleh will figure it out.
Also, you've been a part of the promotion for one show now, like 6 weeks, one show.
Yeah.
And no, I guess 2 months. You've been here 2 months, but only one show because you skipped the last one. You skipped it. So for 2 months, do you want the crowd to want for you? Let's show up. No one asked me where Saleh was. Does that hurt your feelings?
Not yet.
Everyone asked me where Chris is going. They care about him.
I'm not going to show it on camera yet.
For Saleh Taylor, for myself. Big thank you to everyone who supports Duke City Championship Wrestling. Big thank you to everyone who's a fan of Going Over. We'll return next week, where obviously we're going to break down more in the world of pro wrestling, talk about the news of the day, and all the updates on Duke City Championship Wrestling. For Saleh Taylor, for me, good job, everyone. GG.
Thank you.